Yeah, man. Greetings once again. Abba ayalew amlak heruseke mankamun silo samans. I'm raising a son, and I'm concerned about the state of the boy child in our country. Every child, every boy child grows up to be a man. And how these boys are raised and the things that these boys experience determine what type of men they will become or determine the type of choices they will take that will lead them into manhood. Here's my concern. How are we raising these young men? How are we raising these boy children? Are we raising them to be strong? Are we raising them to be masculine? Are we raising them to be competitive? Are we raising them to be builders of communities, families? Are we raising them to be boyfriends? Because now, sinenkinga, a whole lot of traumas and a whole lot of unstable families are the results of those mistakes that came up when we were raising these children. Again, I say, I'm raising a boy child. He's 14 now. And he's starting to ask questions about girls. He's starting to ask questions about life, about what is right, what is wrong. And how I interact with him as a father will determine how he's going to look at the world. Whether or not he's going to be influenced by his friends or his teachers at school or his peers or whatever, the media and this, we need to come to terms with the fact that as we raise these children, we are also competing with a social norm that is beyond our family boundaries. We are dealing with different cultures bombarded all at once into the minds of our children. Now, I have a relationship with my son. And a lot of the times people would say, no, don't talk about this in front of the kid or don't talk about this to the child. But my logic would be, he's my son. And if he does not know the rawness of my thoughts, he will have a problem. Because now, if he does not know how his father thinks in my basest level, he will not be able to resonate once he becomes now an adult. Because kunalento we need to come to terms with. You can teach your child something. You can teach children, say this, say that, say that. But actually, they are more observing what we do and how we live, what we view as normal and right. This is what eventually becomes a subconscious push for them to make their decisions. Fathers, let's come back and sit down with our sons and relook at the legacies that we are leaving behind. And let's not leave our legacies to the hands of fate. Because what we teach to our children, our sons, they will teach to their sons and so on and so forth. Let's come back to the idea of raising the boy child, lebollo, ukweluka, rites of passage. And we are living in this modern society. We are not expecting abantwana bakhwele phezu kwama-flat ke ngoku because akho zintaba ego eJoburg. We are not going to go on top of flats and perform circumcision ceremonies there, but we can perform camps where we sit fathers and sons, talk about manhood, what is manhood, and fix our mistakes, because it is these boys that see us abusing our women, our girlfriends, our wives, their mothers, that grow up thinking that this is normal. I think if we can sit down as young men, middle-aged men, and older men, and just rebuild this legacy of manhood, siye kukuzijonga from the perspective of manhood from a European perspective, and start to look at ourselves as amadoda from an African perspective. Siyakelele into yokushela intombi as trophies, like you're just accumulating a list of women under your belt and you don't care, you're not responsible for them in any case. We are not saying now, let's commit to whatever mistakes that we have made. I'm saying let's look at the mistakes that we have made and correct them. But we can only do this if we can sit down, sibe nenkundla yamadoda. And then from lo nkundla yamadoda, we pass it on to the young men and to the boy children, so that maybe in future we can have a better representation as amadoda in the society. Give thanks.